Hmm.
I'm curious, what's your number one priority with this team this year?
Well, I don't know if we have a number one. We have a priority to try to just keep making our team better. We have a lot of free agents, that indicates that we did a really good job last year. But the problem is to do that, we had to have contracts like we had, and so now we have to try to do it again. We have to try to sign as many of our guys back as possible.
You had a lot of turnover last year. I
Yeah,
think you would say that it did take a couple of months to kind
yeah,
of figure things out. That being said, would you like to keep as many of these guys as
yeah.
possible?
I like our core. I like our our bench was really good this year. And it's obviously it makes your bench easy. You look at Golden State as an example. They have their bench intact, and so it allows them to be even better the following year. So I would love that. It's going to be hard to do that. I know that, but that's the goal.
Do
Are
you,
you,
do you
are you
expect the three guys who have player options to climb just because of all the money that's out there?
Yeah, I think the whole league will. I don't think a guy in the league won't. So and they should. They all should. So that's fine.
How much more tweaking does this roster need?
I don't know. I mean, we're close, and we know that. Obviously with the injuries, literally don't know what we could have done. I don't think like Blake's injury in particular, uh, even doing the playoffs, he still wasn't 100%. But I liked how our team grew through the season. I would love to have seen us 100% healthy going into the playoffs. Um, and that obviously, if we hadn't have won it then, you would have known exactly what you need to do. So now it's more of a guesswork, but I think we have a pretty good idea of what we need to do.
I'm sure a lot of teams are going to be calling you involving possible trade talks.
Yeah, but that's what they should do. So that's nothing new than what they do every summer, and that's part of the basketball business. Everybody wants to get better. There's going to only be one happy team. Tell our guys that. You think winning is easy? It's hard. Being the winner is hard, and you know, Golden State did it, and somebody will do it this year, and then everyone else will be left trying to figure it out, and then there'll be those same questions like they are here and maybe other places why they haven't won it. And so it's our job to figure out, are we close enough?
But can you imagine any kind of a scenario where a team would present a package that would entice you to give up either Paul or
First of all, I don't talk about that. That's silly for me to talk about. I think you know that. So, but the answer would be no. But we'll see.
you guys have two draft picks
Yeah.
this year. How important is it going to be to hit on those guys based on the other things that you kind of have?
Well, listen, Dan, we're in the 20s picking. So if you're thinking you're going to hit a home run in the 20s, it happens. Historically it doesn't.
But do you? I
But,
mean, not,
yeah.
but like, I mean, even like a double. You know what I mean, or something like that. If we're going to use a baseball analogy.
Well,
Is
it's
it
not
have to
because
get-
it's
is it
silly.
have to get
No,
better?
if I'm thinking about, we're going to do a great job in the draft. We're going to do the best we can. But to go into a draft in the mid 20s thinking you're going to hit a home run is just silly talk, or a double. All right. So, and to think that that's going to be the one that takes you over, obviously it'd be nice, but it's silly talk.
Are those assets you can use though? I know you can't. do
Yeah,
anything
you can
until
use
draft
anything
night,
with
but
your draft picks. You can do whatever you want.
You said last year you would call Austin's mom to if you needed to help with him.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate it being tough to get him to come back?
Well, I think they all want to come back,
Mm-hmm.
but they've all played well,
Mm-hmm.
and so they've all made it more difficult. But we're gonna make a strong uh, effort to bring all our guys back. I think that's a better way of saying it. So, and Austin obviously is included in that.
How much input will you have with Paul and his decision?
Very little. I don't. I just don't try to. I think that's so personal, and um, you know, I think that's a decision that Paul's going to have to make. He'll ask, and I'll give him what I think, and very little of that, because I think players as far as thinking about retirement have to come to that conclusion. I don't think, even though I'm more than a coach to him, I don't think you can give him too much information. I don't ever want him sitting at home thinking why I did or didn't. I think that's a hard one. I was never a great player, so I don't get it, that part of it. That's a tough one.
Do you feel like he has another season left in him?
Yeah, I do. But, you know, I think the whole key is where he wants to be health-wise and how did he feel through the season. I can't figure that one out.
You guys have had some success with minimum guys.
Well, that's the
This
only
year.
thing we could do.
So how hard is it going to be next year when there's all that money out
There's still
there?
minimum guys. You know, that won't change that.
You don't
Yeah.
think it will?
No, there'll still be minimum guys, and those are the guys that we may have to go after again. You know, and you know we do have a little money, but not a lot, and we're going to have to be very creative again. You know, that's just the situation we're in because of the salaries that we have, and we have good salaries. You know,
How does that spike going to, you think, impact free agency for
I don't
maybe not
know
for
yet,
you guys,
yeah.
but for the rest of the league?
well, I think it'll be interesting how the teams that have a lot of money use it. You know, just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you're in a great situation. You know, and you can use it quickly. So I think what typically happens when a lot of teams have money, teams spend a lot of money, and then there's a lot of guys that thought they were going to get money that don't get it. And I think that'll happen again this year.
Apologies if I'm sure you've addressed this already in some point, but just broadly speaking, how do you tell when the margins are so thin, like if your team is just good enough, like if you're almost there? And
Well, I think you look at your numbers. You know, how many teams were in the top 5 or top 6 in scoring and defense? 3. We were one of them. You know, the numbers tell us we're really good. Since we're in an analytical world now, I mean, you can't use them when you want to use them, and then don't use them when it doesn't fit your story. You know, so if you just go analytically, an analytical guy would look at our numbers and say, "I wouldn't touch your team." You know. So, you know, it depends on who writes the story, really. And from my standpoint, I could care less. It's more what I think and our organization thinks. But I'm just using that as an example.
when in a season like this where you guys can Steph goes down, the group takes him out for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
How does that influence your thinking of what a team can do in the playoffs, even if it's the second best team, the third best team, whatever?
Well, in the West, you know, unfortunately, we have the champions, the last 2. You know, and that's just what it is. San Antonio and Golden State, they had historic years. You know, yet there's 2 other teams, you know, going into the playoffs, I think, that believe that they could still win it. And that was us in Oklahoma going into it. That doesn't mean the other teams can't. But, you know, Golden State gets injured. You know, everyone around here, not our players, I'm talking outside of here, got excited, and then we got injured. Then everyone in Portland got excited, and everywhere else, you know. So it goes back to what I said before the year, where I wasn't making a personal attack at Golden State. You know, things got to go your way. And, you know, clearly, I don't think I've ever seen a team lose 2 guys in 5 minutes in a playoff game. You know, especially your 1 and 2 guys. But it has happened. You know, I had to go back to, I think the Lakers would, and it wasn't their best 2, but it was Magic and Byron, you know, with the hamstrings in the Detroit series. That's the last that I could think of it. You know, we lost Pert for Game 7. You know, but it happens. But that's part of winning too. I mean, you need that, and we didn't have health this year.
Will any of these guys need surgery?
No, I guess Chris already had surgery, so I don't think anyone else will. I know they're doing their evaluations. They've done them the last day, and I think they have some more to do. But I think this summer we're surgery free that I know of.
Now, will Blake be healthy throughout the summer and ready for training camp?
I don't think he'll be healthy throughout the summer, but he'll be healthy way before training camp. You know, he just had the procedure, and so whatever it took we'll take Anthony Davis, and whatever it took Iguodala, you know, he did the same thing. A lot of the guys have done this, so it's not that the procedure is not that big of a deal. You know, it just, I know when you do it, I think there's non-weight bearing involved, and that's what that slows the process. You know, obviously, if you can't put weight on something, it's tough to heal it right away. So
Will the Olympics out for him? For sure,
I
or
think so. I don't know, but I would guess yes.
What about DJ? Is he still considering the Olympics?
Yeah, I think he is.
CJ, do you foresee him being on the brink of being a rotational player in the NBA?
Yeah, you know, he gave us a couple of good minutes the other day. You know, so I think he's done everything. You know, CJ's unfortunately he has a lot of guys in front of him, you know, and so it's tough to move in front of players in the NBA. And he's been one of those guys. Where I love CJ is he's putting in the work and he's gotten better.
Jamal's accomplished a lot here.
Yeah.
You kind of use the success he's had to, as almost a recruiting pitch to bring him back.
Yeah.
Say, look, it's worked so well. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the good news about the guys that are free and that are opting out because they should, it's their, their financial purpose is I can't find one of them that doesn't want to be here. And that's a good thing. That doesn't mean they'll be here because, teams have money, like you said, and, everyone knows what we can spend and what we can't spend. And that'll be the way for one of these guys to get away where a team puts a number that we can't match, and they know we can't. So that'll be it.
How seriously will you guys discuss a D-League franchise this summer? And is that something?
I don't know if we're going to discuss it for sure. I don't know if we'll be able to do it by the start of the season, but it's something we want to do. We're ways away from it, but we've had discussions with some outside forces that could make that happen possible.
You guys use that flexible thing a lot with CJ. You used it some with Brandon.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I liked it in the fact that CJ and Brandon could play. I didn't like the fact that we had to ship them all over the country, and we couldn't see them. So I would love, we saw them, but I would love them to go away or any of those guys and actually run our stuff. Be coached by one of the coaches that was in training camp. And I just think for development purposes, it's a better way of developing your own guys. But it was better than nothing. I'll say that.
You mentioned the analytics. Paying attention all the time, whether you want to or not. A lot of people would argue Austin analytically you could do better in that position. I mean, obviously, they seem to disagree. What do you think he does that make the numbers do or don't show?
Well, defense alone. And it's funny. I don't know if his defensive numbers show up great. But ask any coach in the league what they think about him defensively, and they'll tell you. And offensively, he's clearly improved as the year went on. So I'm going to say this again. At the numbers we're signing guys, find the guys at those numbers. So I think, again, what you guys do is so easy. Well, we can get a better 3 at the minimum. You can. Go find one. You know what I mean? So, of course, we can get a better 3 if we have $15 million to spend. So if you look at each of our guys, look at their contract, and go find a guy and match the guy to their contracts. And you may find one of 30 teams. So when you look at it that way, tell me who we have that we could have done better. That's the argument for Austin, for Wesley, for even Jeff Green at his number. And that's that would be my argument. Of course, we can find, maybe we can get the best point guard in the league to back us up. But give me the $20 million to do it. So, that's the point I make. Like, go find someone. Tell me who they are before you make the comments.
Is there a kind of part of you that hopes somebody throws a big pile of money at Austin? It makes it harder for you to come back, or just because it would be beneficial to him, or?
No, I want to keep Austin. It'd be great. So, no, not really. Why would I want that?
Well, just good for his financial future or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think I think that a lot of people think I want it because it justifies. We could care less what everybody else thinks. Clearly, Austin's always going to be a target because he's my son. It's such an easy target. I don't think if you watch them play, especially the second half of this year, if you still have questions about it, then it's personal towards father-son. It's not. You clearly don't have a basketball eye. That's what I would say. And the same thing with Wesley and all of our guys. Cole, Cole signed a minimum contract. Go find another backup big. I keep hearing we need a backup big. Find me a backup big that was better than Cole this year. It was phenomenal for us. And unfortunately, with the deals that we have, it is what it is, and that's what we have to do. So I don't want anyone to get big deals, but I want them all to do well, I guess is what I'm saying. So I hope they all make a lot of money. I hope they all somehow make it here. I just don't know how that's going to happen, would be my answer.
When you took this job, you inherited a team that had 3 max guys. I mean, that was just a reality
Yeah.
of the situation. Philosophically, that presents these challenges where you can only approve marginally around them. Is that a thing that you're thinking when you talk
Oh
about
yeah, three
trades?
max guys are tough, but I knew that when I took the job. I knew coming forward was DJ's contract, and we're going to have to give him max again. But we have three max guys, and the difficulty with that is trying to fit in the guys around you. And the way we're doing it, I think, is the proper way. We have a couple of guys, the JJs of the world signed. Everybody else, we got to try to fit them in and move them around. But that's why we've had so much turnover year to year.
Do you think about the balance of maybe it'd be easier if we had two max guys and we were
Yeah, everyone thinks that. But having three is good too. You know, our record says it's been pretty good. So you can go either way. Listen, if we had won, none of these questions.
Sure.
When you don't win, you get all the questions, and I get that.
You said with CP and Blake having the ability to opt out in 2017. When did that process start?
You mean they will?
Well, they will.
Everybody
And-
will.
and they
Like
should.
everybody should. Really,
So
they
what does the
should.
process start for you guys trying to secure, make sure that
Well,
you don't
it
leave and
starts
don't-
every day. I think the process of keeping players start every day in practice, and every day that you coach them and your relationship with them, and knowing that sometimes your relationship, fortunately, with all those guys are good, but your relationship is never going to be great with every player. That's impossible. And those are the guys that usually leave. But we have great relationships with all of them. And they also help us with other players. That's the great part. Like, we have a great group of guys that go out, and part of the reason I think we've been very successful at signing these minimum guys is because they look at us as it keeps happening. Darren Collison, you can shit Austin, Cole. Those guys are going to get deals this summer. And we're hoping they're here, though. That's the point I was making. And, I think we've proven that you come here, your value goes up. And our guys are the best recruiters. I can recruit all I want. But at the end of the day, it's our guys that do it.
Doc, how much do you think Austin improved his stock just around the league and, his reputation after what happened in Game 6?
I don't know. I thought his play was better than his eye, for me. It's funny, during the game, I'm just so focused on the game. I didn't realize what I didn't see it like. And then, honestly, I said it after the game when I was sitting there talking to the team, and you see them, then you realize, Jesus, But it's funny how blinded coaches are, like, during the game. I was yelling at JP, the trainer, like, where the hell is Austin? When he was back there, and I thought the doctors were taking forever to do what I didn't know what they were doing. And then when he came out, I looked at his eye, but I just said, "You ready?" And then he went out and played. And I think because of the way he was playing, I wasn't thinking about his eye. And then after the game, obviously, when you look at it now, you think, wow, don't know if I would have done that or could have done that. So that was good. It was good for him, but that's who he is. That's what makes him good. It's not just his defense, it's just his toughness. It's a good trait to have in our league. It's a trait you better have. We want to be good.
We know your thoughts as a coach. What were your thoughts as a father?
Well, afterwards, I was very proud. It was, more, I guess, the next day because of all the texts and calls. And I got a lot of calls from other coaches around the league, and they'd even ask. They kept saying your son. And I thought, wow, that's cool.
What did your wife think?
He's nuts, but that's typical for.
She talking about you or Austin?
Probably both. Yeah. But she didn't say that. She just, she wanted to know how Austin was. Really, she didn't ask about the game at all. It's all about, how's my son. So.
You guys, when you took the shot, obviously you wanted to win a title. That was.
That's the only go.
I thought the second though was improve the culture.
We've done that.
And I was going to ask
Yeah.
you kind of.
Yeah,
how is
we've done that.
That cultural stuff, and what have you seen the biggest growth?
Well, I just think all around, organizationally. I thought our locker room this year was fantastic. We absorbed a lot of stuff. I thought as the year went on, it got better and better. I thought it showed through the injuries, with just player-wise culture. But I think the reason the player-wise culture was so good is because the organization around it has grown. And I think I'm very proud of that and what we've done in that regard. I think around the league, you hear players saying how we treat players, Everything is first class. We cut no corners. We have standards, and I think that's starting to grow in this league, and that's important for us. But it still doesn't get me to where I want to go, and I want to win a title.
One of the things you guys absorbed was obviously what happened with Blake and
Yeah.
Matthias. Did you notice a change now that you can kind of look back in Blake after that? What did he learn from this experience, and did he show growth to you through it?
Yeah, I think everyone, you go through something like that, you grow, or you don't, and you go the other way. But Blake didn't go the other way. It obviously was something he wished he could have back, but he can't get it back. And so from there, you either grow or you don't. And I thought he did a good job of coming back.
Is there a sense like if you get through just sort of one clean year where either the injuries were minimal, you don't have your owner popping off, or just stuff like that, like eventually you get that one year where you get.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope, obviously. I don't ever, I get that question a lot on the street. Can you ever have a normal year? And actually, my answer is, this is a normal year for us, for right now. But, I don't know. I don't worry about it a whole bunch. I really don't give it a lot of thought, especially with injuries. I mean, you can't control that. So it happens, and you move on. I mean, you literally do. You think about the next day. I don't let it get me down a long time, I can tell you that. I think you just, hey, stuff happens. I just have a tough time feeling sorry for anybody, me or our group, when I look at the world and think, is this our worst thing? So that's maybe how I look at it, and I don't worry much about it.
In sports, we always hear about the window of opportunity.
Yeah.
Is the window closing?
Yeah.
I mean,
The window is always closing. The window is never always opening. And I believe that. I don't think our window's closed though. But the window is always closing on every team. That's for sure. And I think we'll know when it's closed. But I don't think it's closed yet.
Did they ever close on San Antonio?
Not yet. Well, they keep changing. They keep changing windows. And they've had great fortune in that. And, give them credit. Like, they've gotten some of their key guys to take less and fit in, and because they're a lot older. And so, that's my goal is us win one or two, and Chris and them are 35 and decide to take less, which you think they would back there at that point, and to keep winning. But you got to win it first. You don't get that loyalty and then win it. You usually win it, and then you get that type of sacrifice, the Dirk Nowitzki sacrifice. Well, he won it, Dwayne did it the 1 year. He had won it already. It doesn't usually happen before you win it. So let's win it and see if we can get all those sacrifices.
Last summer you said you needed to get creative and you had more guys under contract.
Yeah.
Does that make it tougher this year because I think you only have six guys under contract for next season? Does that make
Yeah, I don't know if it makes it tougher or not. I don't think it makes it tougher or easier. I think it's pretty, I don't know. I think I like the way the summer looks if things break our way the way we see they can, but we'll see.
Any
Doc,
thoughts
I
on
know
that?
that you said that you like to stay out of the training room after your experience as a head coach. The last 3 years, you've had injury complication with Jared last year with Glenn, and this year with Blake Griffin. Do you still have confidence in the training staff going?
Yeah, I think they're terrific. I think they've done a nice job. When you have injuries, obviously you have questions, but I think overall we've been pretty good in there. When you, again, every exit interview, from our players, and you ask about that department, the guys that were somewhere else always say this is the best they've had. So when I hear that, I think, well, we must be pretty good.
Lakers made a move, obviously, picking up Luke. What do you know about him? In terms of
I like him. I don't know, enough about him, but I like him. I know him and his brother, and obviously I know his dad, but I don't know. I mean, I think he's going to be good. He was really good for 40 or 5 games or whatever.
How hard is it to import part of a culture? I know you brought some stuff from Boston here. How hard is it to do that? Go into a place and just.
Oh, you do it. I mean, when I left Orlando, I changed the whole culture in Boston. That was my goal. That's you have to, and if that's what he wants to do, I don't know. I'm assuming that's what he wants to do, but it doesn't mean it's the same in each place. The culture we created in Boston was different from the one in Orlando. The one we created here is a little different from Boston because of your personnel and the people. But I think a coach has to have the ability to be able to try to change the culture to the way he sees fit for that team to win. And if he's not allowed to do that, he's not going to be successful. So I can't imagine him not allowing Luke to try to do that.
Is that the greatest benefit to being the personnel guy and the coach at the same time?
Well, I don't know. We did it in Boston, and I wasn't. So I think it just depends on how the relationship is. You know, I have a great relationship with the president here, and so we do very well together. But I had a great one in Boston with Danny, you know, and we did well together. And I think that's the key. Like, it's got to be a team. It can't be one guy doing one thing and the other guy doing another. I don't know if that works anymore. It may have worked years ago. I don't think that works anymore.
With Austin playing with Chris, has Austin added things to his game that he saw Chris doing and that he's now trying?
Yeah, I think anybody that is around Chris and Blake and all those guys, you add, you know, that little strange floater that he shoots is him and Chris do that every day. And now JJ's trying to do it for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. But they do. I mean, they have the competitions. They work on it. And for Austin, it became a weapon because he's bigger than Chris, you know. And so, you know, it kind of changed his game, you know, as far as going to the basket.
Not just that. There's other places, things like he's shooting it from spots where Chris goes to.
Yeah, well, that's...
He didn't do that when he got here.
No, I think if you work with the guy every day and you watch him and you realize that you can get to elbows, you know, you can get to the mid corners and make shots, it's very difficult to guard you. If you can get to the get to the basket and then you can make the in between and you start making threes, you become very difficult to guard. And I think Austin has seen that.
Because in between's almost a lost art.
Until the end of the game. You know, I always tell, you know, everyone talks about the in-between game and how it's a lost art. You look at the playoffs, I think the in-between game is lost during the regular season. You look at the playoffs and where guys are making shots from, and look how everybody's, you know, most teams' threes are going down. And then look at most end-of-the-game shots. They're in-between jump shots. So I think you need everything. Again, that's where you can't just have one. You have to be able to have it all if you're going to be great, you know. But those few guys that have great in-between games are going to be in the league a long time. I'm done with you guys until October, hopefully. I'm not talking for the